Our adventure starts at Snowdonia in North Wales. We decided to set the challenge of climbing 3 peaks in 3 days. We first headed to Reed to park up and start our first climb. We noticed that there was no signal, and it honestly felt like a sigh of relief to finally be back in the quiet. So we've left the van and we are on our way to Glyder Ridge, which is there. Pretty excited. It should take, I think, a few hours to do. We haven't really researched the trail, so we're gonna wing it and see how it goes. We started climbing Egan, a pretty steep incline that lasted for about an hour. But we took plenty of opportunities to take little breaks and enjoy the view. The great thing about a quick ascent is that the terrain rapidly changes, and you realise how far you've come in such a small amount of time. One of the reasons we chose this trail was because you can see the sea, or well, an angle sea on one side, and the mountains on the other. Two contrasting worlds coming together to form an incredibly unique landscape. We reached the top of Egan. We rested there for a few moments, mesmerised by the lakes carved in the landscape.
I don't know how it's possible to make. I'm just gonna watch this guy do it. I guess the key is to stay maybe on one side. I don't know, because it's just like when you're at the top, it's going to drop to the side, right? Is it like
kind of looks
quite
like it, yeah.
thick?
I think it'll be thicker on top.
It
The
looks
path will be
pretty
thicker than you
thick.
think.
Yeah, I hope so.
Luckily, it wasn't as hard as I expected, and it added a fun dimension to the trail. We only saw one other hiker and 3 quick-footed runners who made it look super easy to navigate the rocks. So, if you're looking for a quieter hike, definitely recommend the Glyder Ridge walk, because you really don't realise how peaceful it is until you're up there. Climbing the first ridge was probably the hardest bit, because once you reach the top, it opens up and you can easily walk over the other peaks. Well, with a couple of steep bits in between. An interesting feature of the walk was the obelisk built in 1897 to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Victoria.
Yeah!
So excited to meet yours. After that hike, I'm literally starving. Yeah, the view's pretty good.
Yeah, it's super relaxing. You can hear the sheep in the background.
Yeah.
Next, we took on the second highest peak in Snowdonia, known as Glyder Fach. It was mistier than the previous day, and it sunk in how brutal the landscape was, with all the gorse bushes and razor-sharp rocks.
Jessie, how's your shoe?
Oh yeah. Went right to a bomb.
And literally a second later, the same thing happened to me.
But look at yours, you're just like...
Yeah, that just looked so safe. I was like, that's gonna be fine.
This part of the trail honestly felt like you were plunged into Middle Earth, with the Black Lake and the mountains clouded with mist. Unlike Nantle Ridge, with the glorious grassy paths, we were hiking over loose scree and larger rocks, having a fun little, kind of scramble. The incredible thing about Snowdonia is you can choose how to experience it, whether you want a casual climb or an adrenaline rush. And with brave hikers scaling Trifan, the peak next to Glyder Fach, you could really see how many ways there are to take on the mountains.
Just how you feeling? It's a bit sketchy up here, isn't it? Yeah, the path like cuts through the rock.
Okay, can I just cut in and say that we had totally messed up at this point. Our poor navigation skills took us over Bristly Ridge, the name says it all, and it was pretty intense, especially because we expected a standard hiking trail. It felt a bit disconcerting seeing people scaling the exposed rock with helmets, especially with the wind whipping against you.
Jessie picked the craziest route up. Which is rock climbing.
But when you finally reach the top, you are met with such a peaceful atmosphere, like being in a stone cathedral in the clouds.
Ready to summit? Great view.
We had completed our second peak. Unfortunately, we didn't get the same view, but the atmosphere was definitely something you'd never forget. We slowly descended Glyder Fach and headed back to the van. That night, we parked up near a lake, cooked a curry, and completely crashed out.
Coffee time.
Time for our final peak! Because I was still kind of shaken up after Bristly Ridge, we decided to do the Miners Trail. We definitely felt it in our legs, but we slowly eased into it. We loved how this trail passed by 3 lakes, where you could see people taking a dip and cooling off in the morning heat. The Miners Trail started off gently, with paved stones, but this gradually got steeper and more rugged as you neared the peak. We really lucked out with the weather and were spoiled with sweeping views from the top. And that was a challenge completed. We really loved how varied the hikes were and would highly recommend checking out quieter routes so you can really take a moment to be with nature.